All right, so the next video, Christmas in Venezuela. This is Zero Hedge again, although authored by Daisy Luther via the Organic Prepper blog. That's kind of cool. Christmas in Venezuela. You know, I've talked a lot about Venezuela over the last couple of years. Like, too much. But it was interesting, not in a good way, but interesting to see how the hell a country goes when you have massive socialism and paying for everything for everybody. Like my last video I just did about the entrepreneurs. And if you don't have entrepreneurs, which they need money to be an entrepreneur or become one, once they become one, they have money and they spend and they create things, right? You don't have that, things aren't looking good for your country. Well, that's one of those countries is Venezuela. What it looks like after socialism destroys your country. The situation in Venezuela is grim, and it's not getting any better. And what are they doing in Venezuela? One thing I just mentioned again in my last video, can't seem to not get away from it. Cryptocurrencies, mining. They're doing anything they can. Bring in some freaking money. And with Bitcoin at, $15,000, $16,000 right now, is it surprising that they're going to say, you know what, the hell with the government, for help the handouts, let's try to take matters in our own hands. And they did, and some people are mining and making out pretty well. Because even, again, you got very, very cheap electricity in Venezuela. And with the rising prices of cryptos, and you don't just have to mine Bitcoin, you can mine Litecoin, you can mine Dash, you can mine all kinds of stuff. You can mine some of the altcoins, then flip those into the bigger coins, There's all kinds of ways to do it. I'm not normally a fan of mining, because I've found out that you might as well just dump your money right into these coins right away and let it sit, rather than wait 2, 3, 4, 6 months before your money comes back. Then you realize, oh wow, if I had to put $5,000 or $6,000 of the mining equipment into even Bitcoin or whatever and let it sit there, 6 months from now, holy crap. That's why I don't mine anymore. I did a little bit in the beginning. I had 2 PCs, basically, 2 motherboards, 6 video card slots in each, PCI connectors, adapters, little like 5 or 6 inch adapters to keep the video cards hanging so I could blow air across them. 6 in one computer, 6 in one. I had Radeon R9D280X or R9 280X. 6 and 6, 12 of them. We ended up getting 3 Bitcoin out of that whole deal in 2 or 3 months, like 3 months, which I was mining altcoins, and then realized, man, if I would have just put that money into freaking Bitcoin, we'd have had a lot more Bitcoin than 3. Oh well. A socialist government has destroyed what used to be one of the healthiest economies in the world and turned it into something for which few were prepared for. As we get ready for the holidays here in America, which we already are, with our usual spending frenzies and feasts, Christmas in Venezuela is looking a lot different than it did a mere decade ago. Maybe some of the young people who think socialism is the answer to all our societal woes will read this and realize that this form of government does not work. It destroys all hope. Last week I got an email from a prepper named J.G. Wentworth? No, J.G. Martinez D. or Jose. He offered to send me some on-the-ground articles for as long as the internet is up and running. I thought, given this season, that it would be an interesting thing to follow up with the interview with Selko regarding his Crap Hits the Fan Christmas, with an interview about, and he has a link there, she has a link there, with an interview about Christmas in Venezuela. Jose is one of the few people in Venezuela who was a prepper before this collapse happened. So here is his perspective, and it's why it's quite valuable. So this will be interesting. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? I am an upper middle class professional performer, worker of the oil state company, in my 40s, a bachelor's degree from one of the best national universities. I have a small 4 members family, plus 2 cats and a dog, an old but in good shape SUV, a good 150 square meters house in a nice neighborhood, in a small but formerly prosperous city with 2 middle-sized malls. Everything in the period from 2004 to 2012 was just fine. After that period, the economy started declining, and it was in a declining trend that has been increasing faster every week. Being a prepper and having experienced 2 major similar crises in my lifetime, civil turmoil in 1989 and Caracas coup d'etat in 1992, inspired me to find a second and even a third income source and some months worth of food at home. I started to write for a Forex blog and earning some extra cash for preppings. A gen set, now used twice weekly because of the power cuts, additional freezers, a CNC machine for a home-based small business, and some professional audio equipment for voiceover and podcasting, or podcast broadcasting, another economic activity that I enjoy after my career in the oil company stopped. A water tank with a concrete base. The power cuts stopped the water supply pumping station system, and reinforced bars for the windows, enclosing the patio for security, and some other improvements. This has allowed my family to deal with most of the terrible situation in Venezuela. I am now outside the country, planning for the exile of my family. I know things are going to get a lot worse before they start to get better, and don't want them there, my family there, once the shooting begins. Tell me a little bit about the traditions in Venezuela. What was Christmas like before the economic collapse? Christmas in Venezuela was one of the most popular times of year after school holidays. A lot of people, mostly in the big cities, went to the beach to enjoy these free days. Venezuelans are very family-oriented people. For us, Christmas is a season for being with the family, even in the entire year we have not been able to visit them. There was an exodus from one side of the country to the other, people traveling in all directions to gather with their beloved ones, mainly from big cities to the province states. Since December 1st, shops, coffees, restaurants, houses, entire subdivisions and streets, government offices, schools, and all kind of business were decorated in the traditional nacimientos, or representations of baby Jesus' birth in the crib with Saint Joseph, Virgin Maria, Virgin Mary, Maria, 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 and the three wizard kings. No, it's not three wizards, it's the three kings. But also, there's 3 stars in the sky right now called the Three Kings. You don't think? Nah, never mind. The general environment was a happy one of hope and confidence in the future. One of our Christmas carols called Giata, totally unrelated to the Western Anglophone ones, are being played with drums and all kinds of instruments, and for the untrained ears, it could sound something like menegu, whatever that is, or merengue, excuse me. It has been a totally pleasant surprise for the foreigners to come to a church for their services and find people dancing and singing traditional songs, lights and all kinds of ornaments hanging from the doors, walls, windows, and every place imaginable. Malls were full with people buying all kinds of presents, and temporary employment was a permanent need for the merchants since the first day of December. All kinds of toys and kids' articles were sold even in the streets for the baby Jesus' birth night. Many people piled up their mattresses, pots, and pans in the family car, heading for a vacation destination like Isla Margarita, with beautiful beaches on the mountains of Merida in Los Andes. Another tradition is buying new clothes or shoes for the 24th, 25th, and 31st December evening to dress up and for dinner, while the children played with their new toys and receiving the new year with the best new clothing to ask for prosperity. The next question is, how have the traditions you described above changed now that there is very little money? Without money and cash scarcity, traveling is very hard. Many people have restricted their family gatherings. Prices of bus tickets are very high for the common person, and an airplane ticket is just a joke. 75% of the national fleet is on hold because of lack of maintenance. I have not known of anyone with kids in the last 4 years that could buy any new attire for themselves to use on the 24th and December 31st nights. Most of the available money is for the 24th and 31st December dinner, or for kids' toys, if any. Many kids these years have received a very simple toy instead of those most expensive and fancy ones, and many others have not been able to receive any toy at all. They have seen people looking inside the garbage bags for food, and despite their age, they seem to understand what is happening and don't ask for expensive toys to baby Jesus, leaving the parents to relieve some pressure and get them whatever they can. However, the hard part is that many kids were used to going to visit their grandparents. Excuse me. And nowadays, this kind of family trip is just not possible. There is no cash, collapsed transportation, no parts for the family cars. You get the picture. What are families eating for Christmas dinner now? Nowadays, families are mostly eating beans and lentils whenever they can be found, and white rice, sometimes hard to find. Middle class made an extra effort for at least one halakha for each member of their family at the Christmas dinner eve, and most bought to people who makes a temporary business by preparing, cooking, and selling halakhas. Those who can afford to make halakhas at home are not too many, and people do not give away halakhas to friends and family so often. The most easy meal for Christmas dinner seems to be just the hen salad. I mean, what we would call egg salad? Not sure. There are no wheat flour at fair prices for ham bread or cake, nor olives or other ingredients at affordable prices. Instead of a complete pork leg, some people just buy, if they can find it, some pork meat and roast it in the oven just for Christmas Eve. So there's several more on this. Again, I'll link the article. This is it. This is socialism. And if any kind of crap, we try to go that way in our country. Now, we got Trump at the helm. We ain't going to socialism. Let me say that, but we still have a lot of debt. We still got a lot of problems. How the hell is that stuff going to get solved? And this is why I'm trying to get people out of debt. Enter cryptocurrencies. And when you see what it's a guess. It's a guess. Over the next couple of weeks, call it the second week of January. Oh my God, every Bitcoin, crypto, Litecoin, ETH, whatever, all breaking records. Everybody who bothered you the other day, oh my God, sell off, holy crap, dude, you're in those things, get out, is going to look back at you and say, damn, it's only been a couple weeks, 2.5 weeks. They've already recovered fully and they're at new highs? Yeah, I tried to tell you, dude. We never saw a pullback like that before, though, have you? Not quite that hard, but yeah, we've seen a few. Okay, I'm ready to get in now. Right? You're going to start hearing that. So, I'm out. Take care.